bringing people together on the dance floor felt really aligned with my purpose. And yeah, bringing people together to celebrate life and a communion and dancing and just connecting definitely, just felt aligned with my calling. So yeah,
Was there
that's
like
it.
a specific moment where you were like, okay, I'm gonna go all in with this project?
There was a moment where I realized, like, okay, I really need to pursue this because I'd always created art and had different forms and expression and whether it was painting like or graffiti writing or breakdancing or just creating beats. I was like definitely always an artist, but there was a point, I'd say probably about 5 years ago where I realized that, yeah, like I wanted to channel it all into Swayló as a project and kind of pull it through in that form to share with the world. So it was a really nice moment. It kind of came from a bit of a broken heart. I like to say, in times of destruction, create something. That's been a sort of a guiding mantra for myself. And, it's like, definitely, yeah, observing that there's chaotic moments in life for all of us. I think no matter who we are, we have that experience and chaos and confusion and just kind of like feeling lost at moments. And in that time, I think we do have a choice in a lot of ways, whether we're going to sort of give up into it, let it overtake us, and kind of like if there is a lot of pull to just lay in bed and just give up and feel. I felt that, but there's also this choice to kind of lean into it, breathe into it, and stay calm in moments of chaos and create something, and that kind of brings and seeds new life. So it was a very beautiful moment for me to find that alignment and for it to come through. It gave me a lot of purpose and hope for the world and for what I had to offer.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I'm sure all of us can relate, in our own ways to that whole vibe of like picking yourself up after something. So I want to pick your brain about you. You're an artist, and a lot of the artists I've spoken to in the past are in some sort of group. And you being kind of like your own boss a little bit with your own project where you're the leader, but then like who are you leading? You're kind of leading yourself in addition to your team, but like I'd love to hear what you've learned, with leading yourself and then just being a leader in general are just like kind of the most important sticking points when it comes to being a great leader.
Hmm. Yeah, cool. So I think like leadership is yeah, I've been learning a lot about it. And I think really it's about connecting to one's heart and letting our heart guide us. And we have these thinking brains that are always going and analyzing and sort of so direction can come from the brain, but I think prior to that it comes from the heart. So and there is like intuition. There's a lot of different factors at play when we sort of lead, because leading is, there's all these paths that present themselves and we have to choose which path we're gonna go along and stick to, and how we navigate those choices along the way. And so yeah, for me it's oftentimes like checking in with my heart. Does this feel right? Is this aligned for myself as well as for the greater good of others, is how I like to approach decisions, and how I make decisions in leading myself and others as well.
And now flipping that to kind of, your approach when working with others, not necessarily being a leader per se. What's the personality traits you've come to admire most in with the people you've worked with?
Yeah. Let's see. I really appreciate kindness. I think at the end of the day, I really do appreciate kind people, um, who do choose to be calm in chaotic moments, who sort of I'd also say generosity is a really beautiful trait. Like when people are able to give. It means, you know, that they're confident and secure where they're at in themselves, as well as then being able to share. And yeah, sharing is caring. So I appreciate, you know, people who are thoughtful about others and kind of how they move along. Kind of back to what I said, like in terms of, and it kind of reminds me of like you have to put your mask on before you put someone in the airplane. Like they say, you know, if
Mm,
the oxygen goes out, you got to put your mask on before you help someone else. It's like you have to be aligned with oneself. So like that confidence, that the leader shows that they're in tune with themselves and with like what they believe in their heart, and then also while considering others, and you know, being thoughtful and aware of others along the way in that decision is really is beautiful.
for sure. And I love the way you put that. And yeah, it's like there's no greater flex than just being a kind, generous person.
Mhm. Totally.
So jump a little bit to the side here. Can you talk to me about what you feel like it is about music that can cause for it to heal people?
Yeah, music, you know, based on like frequency and vibration, which scientifically we exist in this world of um yeah, vibration and frequency and movement. We're like water molecules primarily, you know, make up the human and the earth. So and then pushing energy through like the spectrum in form of vibration, um is, yeah, is like this, is this magic, is this almost like higher than scientific. Like I believe magic is almost like beyond scientific definition. That's what magic is. Like when you something occurs that you're not able to quite scientifically or factually or like be able to define. And I think music has that trait to it. We know a lot about it, but I think we're also learning always, you know. And so it's just beautiful how with intention, um, you can move matter. And I think a lot about like the study of, you know, the Japanese study on the water, where you place an intention and you freeze the water molecule and you're left with a crystal that's, you know, very beautiful when you put an intention that is, you know, of that nature. And um or can be very distorted if you're, you know, putting a kind of chaotic or distorted intention with the water. So I think similar with music, you know, really depends on what the intention is of the facilitator, curator, or creator of the music. And but it does have the ability to attune our frequencies and our sort of composition of water within us. And so yeah, I'm very curious and interested to continue to learn about that. And thanks, that's a great question I'm still asking myself.
Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your take on like so specifically with rhythm or trance, right? At times where music can feel like, you know, an hour and a half of music's passed by in the blink of an eye. Like, what do you think's happening in the mind of the
Mm.
listener that can cause for that like profound musical experience?
Yeah, it's like a transcendental state of being, where maybe we shift from like a physical focus to more of a spiritual or sort of ethereal experience. I think, you know, both of those planes exist. Like the physical reality exists. We're living in it. We're very conscious, hyper focused on, I'd say, a lot in our culture and our in today's world. And then the yeah, the spiritual plane, which in a lot of ways, from my perspective, is more of the real world actually, and more of the world that exists. Even though we're focused more on the physical world, some of us, not, you know, this is um yeah. So I I just like to think about, yeah, like focusing on that aspect of of the world and how we can then exist in it, and how the physical then manifests around that in a way, is really
Mm.
been quite kind of guiding in the way that I've been living, and the way that I'm sort of working with music as a medium, I'd say. So yeah.
So yeah, and I'd love for you to like course correct me. I'm gonna try to like make sense of kind of what you're putting out. So as an artist, your approach is a little bit like, okay, there's this underlying invisible world that we can't see, but it's what, you know, really is orchestrating the whole physical world that we can see. And so through your music, and through any kind of music that creates this like transcendental experience, like what would you say is ultimately going on between these
Mhm,
worlds?
mhm. Yeah, I think it's a bridging of those two worlds, to sort of be, in a physical space, in a place with other people, listening to music in our body, dancing, moving. And then as that trance experience is occurring, we're able to shift into bridge, into sort of the spirit world, where we somewhat disassociate it somewhat with the physical world. It's not a complete dissociation, because I think it is a bridging of the two,
Mm.
that happens. And yeah, it's just like amazing insights, lots of fun, pleasure, joy, releasing of traumas, uniting with one another, a sense of connection to God. Really, it can be different for everyone. Those are just a few of sort of maybe some of the things that I've experienced in that state, in that bridge where of bridging of the two worlds in sort of a trance experience through music.
And is this kind of like your maybe your I don't want to use the word goal, but that's the word. Is this kind of your goal as an artist to create this type of experience for like your fans?
Yeah, if I can contribute to that, for sure. Like I'm definitely motivated to help others and myself to, yeah, to be able to lean in deeper, to the experience, and um into connection with others, and ultimately, into love. I like to say love over fear. So into sort of like an existence where we know we're gonna be okay. We got this, no matter what happens, in the physical reality. Like there's an understanding on the spiritual dimension that we're in this together, and we got this, and no matter what happens, we're gonna be okay.
I love that.
This is Flowers on the Stage, a podcast about being creative and finding success. To support it, please check out our sponsors, New Belgium Brewing, Thrax CBD, and Ticket Relief, the ticketing company that plants trees with a portion of each ticket sold. And now, back to the episode.
So now on the flip side for my next question, can you talk to me about your experience professionally with like the tug of war between like making art and making money and what that's like for you?
Yeah. You know, I work on both sides of like music and entertainment, in the sense of really coming from the heart and creating art and loving to share it. And yes, like, make a living from that as well. And on the other side, I also am working in the promotions and production, world, creating events and experiences. And so, I leaned into that heavily in, about 10 years ago, and have had some awesome opportunities to work with some incredible groups. Um, and yeah, I think it's been a way for me to balance, being able to provide and sustain as an artist. It has its challenges, of course. Sometimes I wish I could, you know, focus more primarily on my music, and I'm hoping to do that, at some point. But I also really appreciate the balance and how the two things sort of work together in a way, and support both aspects. So that's kind of where I'm at with my path. Yeah, it does feel at times, you know, I'm sacrificing, and at other times it feels like I'm really just, I feel very, very grateful and blessed to have what I have going on. So yeah, it's kind of through balance and kind of, yeah, always questioning and um at the same time feeling really grateful and present where I am.
Hmm. Yeah, balance is key, but you know that doubt loves to find a way to creep in.
Yeah, totally. And you know, it's okay to, I think a lot of times, you know, the artist is revered as somebody who doesn't show doubt. But I think, you know, it's natural, it is natural to experience levels of doubt at moments. And I think most, you know, most people, most artists actually do experience that, and you know, humans, and we can relate in that way. And it's sort of learning how to work with it and alchemize it, how to channel the doubt. You don't, you know, there's a time and a place for it, and there's certain ways and tools of how to navigate it, and when to navigate it. And it's been an awesome journey being in this expression of working with music on both sides, and navigating how to kind of work with moments of doubt for sure.
I love that. That's like such a strong tip. Like there's a time and a place for it. You know, that is, I like that.
Mhm.
All
Good
right.
questions, hard questions. Yeah, I mean, you know, not hard, but just, yeah, good, challenging, thoughtful questions. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I listened to you on some interviews,
Yeah,
and I knew I had the opportunity here to, you know, really explore some awesome topics.
awesome.
I got a few
Yeah.
more for you. So
Okay.
I'd love to hear something with your creative process that you stay away from doing and how you think that helps you
Mm.
be successful.
I'm really focused on not overthinking right now. Like that's something that's showing up, is like, you know, the practice of being in the expression and letting it come through as it is, and not over analyzing and overthinking. And so yeah, like a quick example of how um I'll work with that is like when I'm starting to feel that doubt, or when I'm starting to kind of wrestle with like the thinking mind, is this the right thing? Um is this the right sound? Is this what I, you know, the melody that I'm going for, is this evoking the emotion? Are people going to receive this? Is like observing that that's coming up, and then I find exercising to be a really powerful way to like shift my physical kind of thinking, like brain and vessel, and get into a space where I can be guided. Like I can,
Mm,
when I'm euphoric and sort of high from exercising, um I can move out of the brain state of overthinking, and I can then let myself sort of be guided in a way to arrive at, like, again, kind of checking in from the heart and being guided by the heart at that point. Um, and then the thinking can happen outside of it. So yeah.
I love it. Well, man, you are absolutely hitting these questions out of the park. I really appreciate you taking the time. And everyone out there listening, if you listen this far, we got links in the description to check out Swayló's website. You can find him on socials and keep up with all he's got going on there, new music and tour dates and all that good stuff. Got a couple more questions for you. We can even have them be kind of rapid fire if you're you know, feeling like
Yeah,
that. That would be right. But
let's do it.
how would you say that the process of writing music and performing music live for you is a spiritual thing for you?
Yeah, just a really expressive way to like let the emotion and the energy flow through me.
Hmm. What would you say is the thing in your life that's been the greatest teacher for you?
The light and the force and the balance. It's like, yeah, these incredible letting the light come through from the universe, like whether it's the sunlight or, food or an inspiration, knowledge, somebody on my path. And then also like the force of like within like the force to live and will to live, and like just pushing forward for new growth and opportunities and ideas and connection and stuff. So the balance of those two.
Love that answer. I'd love to hear what advice you can share about living a life that you can look back on and be proud of.
Yeah, just, presence. And for me, like the senses are really, really helpful tools. Eating food and really tasting it and enjoying it, and waking up in the morning and smelling how it smells in the morning, like, the feeling the light on my skin, like those sensory that we're blessed with help me to be present and to live in each moment, which when I look back on time, feeling like I lived that moment in that moment really gives me purpose.
Amazing. Amazing. And my final question for you. What do you think old you would say to you now if they had the chance?
I keep going, having fun, and living in the moment, and and be as kind as possible along the journey.
Amazing. Swayló, this is a grand slam. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Wonderful questions.
Absolutely. We'll definitely stay in touch, and hopefully I'll get to see you out there on the road.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
I'm Katie Daly, producer of Flowers on the Stage. This episode is brought to you by New Belgium Brewing.